Thanks for stopping by, guys, and welcome back to Scrap Mechanic. Today's episode is going to be another community creations video, this time themed heavy ordnance. So for those who don't know, the community creation videos are created through the Discord. I give some sort of cue or theme, and people are able to submit their creations for the video, and I take my favorite 5 and look at those. So, the first vehicle on the left is the SPG Mark II. This one was built by Jakub04. The next one we're going to look at is the Hackone by somebody. Now, it is being towed by one of my Humvees because it is a towable gun. The third vehicle we're looking at is the Turul MLRS by Herr Gunther, I think that's how it's pronounced. Fourth one we're looking at is the Rhino Heavy Artillery by GlobeQ, or Globek. I apologize because you told me how to pronounce that and I forget. And last but not least is the AA Mark I High Chair made by Alstrak, or Stop and Slide as I usually refer to him as. He's changed his name over on Discord. So let's go ahead and take some of these out, play with them, and look at what they can do. So the first one we're going to look at is the SPG Mark II. Let's go ahead and drive it around. It is surprisingly fast compared to some of the other ones that are here today. Now then, we should be able to hit 5 and it'll drop our little recoil guards. And this is a kind of an artillery style gun where we can dial in a number. Now this one uses a switch to activate it, so by pressing that, we can go in and out of whatever angle we're using. I'm not quite sure what I think about that. Let's see what its max elevation is. 45. Ooh, we can't go past. Oh, we can go all the way up, it appears. Earlier, I was having issues with the gun jamming at higher degrees, but it seems like we can do a full 90 degrees. So it's already loaded. See what the next button is. That is the auto fire, similar to how some of my artilleries are set up, where all you have to do is place the cardboard, place the round, that, and we are hitting the wall, it seems. Now, I do kind of like this little guard here. It's mostly a decorative thing, I think, but it still kind of looks cool when it shuts. So if I turn off the auto fire, I load it, it does actually wrap around the round. Looks kind of nice. And 4 is the machine gun, so if you are using this in a direct fire way, you do have a way to aim it. And then you have, like I said before, number 5, which is those recoil bumpers. So what I want to see, would it be feasible to see if we can see where this is landing? Or is the arc of these spud guns too much? Yeah, I think it is too much. So if you are wanting to use it as a direct fire, you can. There we go. I'm going to aim this up slightly. So that we can actually kind of elevate the gun while we're driving it. It kind of can work as a direct fire, even though yes, it is intended for an artillery role. It's still an interesting vehicle, especially with how it looks, this low turret. Looks kind of nice. Alright, and the second creation we're going to be looking at is the Hackone little towable gun here. I really love how this thing looks. It looks really nice. And it is compatible with my universal hitch design, so we are currently just using one of my little Humvees to tow it around. Let's go ahead and drop it. Pull away. And then the gun itself, by pressing a switch, will pick itself up and onto some recoil dampeners. And it does also lock these wheels in place so they don't roll as much. So, place them around. And then we have a simple controller system here to dial in our aim and then fire. And on top of the recoil dampeners on the struts, it has a piston recoil in the cannon itself. So the gun should recoil back, which it does. I do like how these feet look. The only issue I've been running into is if you don't have the gun in its default position of 0-0, it will smack into those, which can cause some issues. And also the seat is slightly problematic and kind of launches you over the guarding, or the kind of little shield. But it's not a bad gun. Can't really be used for artillery, unfortunately, because it can't aim up a significant amount. It just hits the little guard there. Which is an AT gun. I guess even like a long-range artillery. I can see a use for it. Oh, we hit the wall. Well, I do have a simple question. Can we go full 360 with it? So let's just go... Let's go 180. Ooh, we can. I want to fire at 90 degrees, see if we can flip it. And fire. So overall, it's a really beautiful gun. There are some issues with it. I see mechanically. One, the recoil is quite a bit, and it moves the gun every time you fire. And since it can only elevate so much, it's not going to be very useful for the artillery style. You can only shoot either direct fire or very, very long range artillery. You can't do anything medium or close range with it. Like I said, you have to adjust every time you fire because of the recoil is a bit excessive for the dampening measures that are on this little piece here. Alright, and the third one we're looking at is the Turul MLRS. This is honestly the most unique of the ones we've looked at so far. Of course, it uses rockets, which are, from what I can tell, they're stabilized. And they are attached to a 2-axis stabilized turret, which... interesting, because I'm not sure how well these would be for firing on the move, but it's very much an interesting concept. Now these can be aimed, and there is a method of reloading. My only issue is there isn't really a way to aim them that I know of other than just direct fire. So let's go ahead and aim these up a little bit and fire them off. Ready, aim, fire. Oh, something still exists from that one rocket. So they're a little bit random. I'm curious if this is intended to be like a artillery style vehicle or if it's meant for direct combat. It looks nice and it's interesting. Very unique compared to some of the other vehicles that were submitted, but I'm not sure what kind of role it would play. Now, like I said before, it is reloadable, so I will check that out real quick. There we go. We just weld this. do that. Connect logic. Connect logic. Now we could reload all of them, but just to show you how to reload. And off it goes. Very interesting, very unique. The chassis itself, I'm really happy with that. The turret, it's kind of weird seeing a turret without a gun in it, because the entire weapon system is on top. Very unique, like I said before. But I do love this chassis. Alright, and next we're going to be looking at the Rhino Heavy Artillery. Now, I am going to say this, I did actually have to modify the vehicle to function properly. The creator had some non-draggable blocks interacting with the large canister, which was causing it to suicide. I did get it to fire earlier with its default configuration, but I did have to modify it to work reliably. So now it is firing. However, the machine gun is a bit broken at the moment. So, with that out of the way, overall it's an interesting vehicle. It's somewhere in between a tank destroyer and an artillery gun, because you can use it as a direct fire weapon to hit a target, or because of the actual gun elevation, you could, if you really wanted to, hit a long-range target with this. And unfortunately the gun cannot go a full 90, however it can go pretty far up regardless. So we are loaded and fire. So you could use this as a long-range artillery as well as a direct fire tank destroyer. See if we can see where it lands. And there we go, we actually hit a tree. Interesting. So it is interesting, it is functional, and does kind of open this middle ground where you could actually build a very much functional tank destroyer with the capability of an artillery. That might be something I have to check into here in the near future. Alright, and the last vehicle we're going to be looking at today, the AA Mark I High Chair, isn't exactly heavy firepower in the traditional sense we'd expect for something like the artilleries and things we've been looking at today. But for its role as an anti-aircraft gun, this thing can put down a lot of firepower. Now, this is to the point it would easily shred through something cardboard, and even something that's not cardboard would probably get knocked out of the sky just by the sheer force of the firepower. So, this is a two-person vehicle, theoretically with one person driving and one person gunning, a completely stabilized turret, so this could fire on the move. But when I hit the fire controls, you could very much take anything out of the sky, I would hope, with something like this. Just the sheer amount of spud guns going through the air. The whole truck. Oh, I might actually be able to flip the truck with this. I'm flipping the truck with this. So, like I said, not traditional heavy firepower, but for the role it's meant to play, that is ridiculous. Unfortunately, I don't have a target to shoot at. I guess I could spawn in one of my jets real quick. And let's see how long it would take me to cut through this thing. And go. Oh, something just went flying into the sky there. Oh. Well, half the wing's gone. You've lost many of the thrusters on the inside, so you lost control. I saw a gun go flying into the air. And if this thing was trying to fly, the amount of recoil. Actually, I've got a bit of an idea. Now this should be able to hover without us in it, but as soon as we open fire on it, it's just going to go flying through the sky. So let's go ahead and turn the truck so we can face it. Hop into the high chair. Let's see what we can do to my little jet here. Oh, and I can't actually get the gun any further than that. But you see that whole side is gone. That is impressive. That is impressive for an AA. So, unfortunately, I am all out of time for this episode. So, if you did enjoy, please leave a like. If you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments down below. Enjoy the channel, enjoy what I'm doing. Please subscribe, it helps out a lot. And right now, shares help the channel the most. So, if you do help the channel, please share this episode with a friend. I do also want to thank Ad over on YouTube for helping sponsor the channel as one of our guardians. The channel does now have memberships, which I haven't really made an announcement for, but Ad is not only the first person to be a member of the channel, he is also the highest ranking of the memberships, which is the Guardian. So thank you very much for helping out the channel and helping make videos like this possible. So I am going to end it here. Thanks for stopping by, thanks for sticking around, and until next time, peace.